Okay guys, so just an update here. I've got some white vinegar now. $2. Sorry, from Coles. Evidently you can add salt to increase the acidity as well, so we've got some of that. These are the two bolts I talked about for the car and the console. Hopefully you can get a good look at those. This one's pretty nasty, but salvageable. I could just go down to the wreckers maybe and just get 2 new bolts, but it's kind of nice just to restore the ones that we had originally in the car. Maybe it's a sole thing, I don't know, but I try to keep it as original as I can. So I think we can do something good with these. So we're going to pop these into a glass of white vinegar, and then after this is done, maybe a couple of days, we will take it out and we'll use some baking soda to neutralize the acid. Then we'll use a wire brush to give them a good scrub, and then I'll try some engine enamel just to see how that goes. Something we have to be careful of too, excuse the camera, is when we spray the paint that we don't overdo it on the threads so it wrecks the tolerance, otherwise it might not screw back in. These are only console bolts, it's nothing particular, but still something to be aware of for other stuff you may paint. But yeah, so let's get it started. That should be enough. I'll pop it in there. You can already see it starting to react, which is fantastic. Nothing like bolts being cleaned. This is great. Some people say watching paint dry is relaxing. Well, this is relaxing for me. So we're going to leave this for about a day, and we'll catch up through them. Maybe around Tuesday we'll clean them up and then paint them and pop them back in the console. Okay guys, just a little update here on these 2 bolts if you remember. So I had these in vinegar since Saturday afternoon, I think is when I recorded it last, and it's now Monday afternoon. So you can see here the vinegar's done quite well, but I'd like to leave it just another couple of days. I'm going to take it out, clean it, and just put some fresh vinegar in there. But let's just have a look here. So this one came out really well. It's so clean. Look at that. You can always put that just back in stock, but I think I'm still going to paint them anyway. That's one. And this was the super rusty one, so see how this one fared. Wow, that's way better. Don't know if you can see that in the light there. So I'd open up the light a little bit more. It's just a stinker today, really, really hot. But yeah, it's come across really good, so I'm going to wipe it. I've got some cuts and scrapes from cleaning the car yesterday, so this is stinging the hell out of me. So let's just clean this up and just see how they look, and then we'll redo it. Uh-oh. Camera almost went on a bender. Let's just see how it came out. That cut's sticking. Okay, screw almost looks black. I don't know if that was because it was actually black or the rust is interacting. Wow, how clean that is. It's crazy. It's pretty good. Okay. This one's basically pretty well done, but I'll just sit it in there just so it gives the other one company while it's hanging around in the vinegar. Yeah, this one's great. Give that one more day just to make sure. And then, as I mentioned in a previous video, we'll use some baking soda to neutralize it, and then we'll give them a quick spray with some, I guess, engine block enamel, I think I mentioned. I think that's probably the best bet, unless anyone else has a better idea. I don't want to put primer and then enamel, so I just want a bare metal finish, just so we don't clog up those threads. But man, that came out really well. Good stuff. Alright, let's just get rid of this. This is the residue, just make sure that's still recording. Alright, so we'll freshen it up and give it another go. And again, just in case, the white vinegar here, double strength. Okay, 1, 2, oh Obviously they won't react now because most of the rust has been eaten off, which is good. So I'll put a bit of salt in there well to speed it up, and next time we see these we'll be ready to paint and prep. Alrighty, thanks peoples, that's the update. Just having a quick look at these bolts now. I think this is about as much as we can get done with the vinegar. This is the refresh vinegar that I put in there from the other video. So I'll just take them out, give them a clean, and after this, maybe a little bit of sandpapering or a wire brush. I'll have to pick one up somewhere. But you can see it's done a pretty good job, so let's just take them out. A little blacker now because I left it too long there, but yeah, you can see how clean that is. Nice, and this was the rusty one. So they came up good, so let's just give them a wipe. Nice. This one. So what we're going to do next is use the baking soda and put it in there. It's supposed to neutralize the acid. Sorry. Just make sure these are nice and dry. Wow, they came out really good. Honestly, they may not even need a paint. Look at that. We'll still clean it and paint them anyway, just a tad. But yeah, that came out really good. You can't expect better than that. Okay, some baking soda in. Neutralize these fellas. Throw away that one. Wash my hands because they smell like vinegar. Yesterday was 32 degrees, today is about 21 and raining, so I won't be able to go outside and do any cleaning today, but as soon as I pick up a wire brush anyway and some paint, we'll go through these. So it's the baking soda working its magic there. Give it a bit of a turn. I don't know how effective this is, I don't think it particularly matters. Just remember to completely dry them afterwards, so I'll just leave them in there for about, I don't know, half an hour to make sure. Give it a dry and then we'll paint the things. This is more just a run for me with these small bolts just for other parts in the car. That's why I'm probably obsessed about it so much. So I'll do the right job the first time. Just get all the muscle skills back in from working on cars. It's going to take a while to get used to it all again. But yeah, there we go. So next video we'll paint them up and put them back in. Cheers. Okay guys, I've let these go for a little bit, just got preoccupied, but if you remember I was cleaning up these bolts and the vinegar did such a good job that I don't think I'm going to actually have to go through and rust proof them or anything. You can see here, you can hardly tell which one was really rusty, which I'm pretty sure it was this one by the way. But yeah, so today I'm just going to paint them. I was going to primer them, so you'll see here. Got some primer for the boot and some rust converter. I was going to do it on these bolts too, just as a practice run, just so I can get the idea down. It's been such a long time since I've done any of this. But I was going to go with engine enamel. Pick this up actually. And I think I'll just spray this straight on because these actually go under the mat on the console. So it's not recording. So I was thinking, well, instead of doing all that work, I'll just do the enamel because you won't see them. They came up so clean that I don't think the primer and the rust proofing is necessary. But I will put some rust proofing down on the threads in the actual console itself because I think there could be some rust that spread down there. But I'll film that as well. But so today we're just going to, basically give them a clean, quick scrub with this wire brush that I bought. Another thing you forget when you're starting anew again, basically from zero, is just all the bits and pieces you need. You don't think about, like sandpaper and brushes and cleaner and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to use this to give it a bit of a scrub. Then I've got some isopropyl alcohol cleaner just to give them a quick wipe down. Okay, I've made a little makeshift spray booth box here, which is this. I'm going to do the bottoms first. Just be careful with the threads when you paint them, you don't gunk them up too much. Okay, so they'll just be turned over like this, and then we'll just give them a spray. Just be wary of overspray, especially when you're doing rental properties, that you're not damaging the property, which is nice to have a little box like this. Alright, so first of all, let's just give them a quick wipe over. Keep checking. The housing's still broken. I'm waiting for a replacement to come in the mail. So we've got our 2 bolts. So what we're going to do here, just going to take the brush and just give it a quick wipe, just to make sure it's all clean. It's incredibly windy today, that's why I wasn't going to do it, but then the sun came out and I decided I might as well just get it over with, because I keep procrastinating. I've been playing Cyberpunk. It's really, really good despite all the bugs. This brush is really kicking ass. I don't know if that's actually coming up on camera. It's already super shiny. Wear gloves if you need to, but just be careful. Why bother with bolts you're never going to see, you may ask? It's just for peace of mind at this stage, and again it's just kind of a run through to get all the rest done, because as I said in my other video there, I've got to do some rust in the boot, so this is just kind of a little practice run just to get back into it again. Some people may not need it, but I do. Ow. As you can see, yeah, if you've got gloves, you probably might want to wear it. I've got bits of metal sticking to my fingers already. Yeah, it's actually come up really clean. I was going to use some sandpaper as well, but yeah. Ow. This is a pretty cheap brush too. I think it was under $10 anyway. I picked it up from Super Cheap Auto. This is good for just cleaning just in general as well, so you need a good little wire brush. There wasn't much to choose from, unfortunately. I think that's pretty well done. Let's just check. That's so clean, it's ridiculous. I almost don't want to paint it now. Look at that. Okay, next one. Gardening gloves would be good for this actually, perfect. You could absolutely wreck them. I've got some latex gloves just for the when I paint them, just to protect my hands, but that's no good against wire brushes. It's basically the prep when you're painting things anyway. The more prep you do and the more work you put into that, the smoother everything else goes. Just in general. I would like to have a Dremel tool or something like that, but then I'll just be polishing everything. Those things are fun to use. Yeah, it's coming up really nicely. I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but yeah, it looks really good. The best way, if you have a vise, would be to put the head into the vise to do the threads and then just run it that way. But again, until I have a permanent place to live, I can't really buy anything like that. That's looking pretty good there. Just do the bottom. So I'll do the bottoms first, just give them a light spray. I'm not too fussed about it, and then we'll let them dry. It says 3 hours until you can actually handle the bolts. I'd leave it 24 hours before actually screwing it back into anything. So I think our bolts look pretty good there, just by comparison. Okay, so now we're just going to give them a clean. Oops. The isopropyl alcohol. Over there. Need a clean rag too, obviously. It's getting windy, I'm going to go start chasing stuff. spray a bit on the rag. This stuff came rare as hen's teeth for a little while there. It's the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. Just give them a good wipe. Should get some goo off. Yeah, destroyed the camera there. There we go, looks nice and clean. Next one. Clean area of the rag. Give this a good clean. Almost has a burnished look now. Really want to get into those threads, that's where grime builds up. That looks nice and clean. That looks nice and clean. So next, I made a little stand, so I'll just hit them like this and I'll spray them in the box. I'm hoping they'll be heavy enough that they won't blow over in the wind. That being said, the wind's going to blow the box and probably knock them over anyway. So I'll just adjust this, okay. So now we're going to spray them. Also too, when you remember to turn it upside down when you finish painting and clear out the novel, I'd do it against, obviously just not out in the open because of overspray, but just against a box, a couple of seconds just to clear the nozzle, so it's good for next time as well. Alright. Latex glove for painting, especially if you wear contact lenses as well. You don't want to be putting stuff in your eyes. It's just easier to clean at night too. So just going to move this box out in the sun a little bit more. Just hope this isn't a mistake. I like to do it out in the sun a little bit too because I'm not so worried about the dust, but it just warms the metal up as well, so hopefully it adheres a little bit better. So just let me get the cap off and we'll start. Be careful, I don't want to cover my GoPro either. It's so windy out here. If the box wasn't so deep, I could actually reach them. That's my fault. There we go. That's plenty. So we're just going to let that dry for now. And then we'll turn them over and then do the tops and she'll be done. Alright, so just remember again to just clear it when you're not using it. Like that, so it's just as clear. Turn it back up. Put the cap back on and then store it safely somewhere, and we'll come back and do the tops. Okay guys, just an update. We've got the holes down here, these two here. Okay, went through a few, not too many actually, I thought it was going to be more. Quite a few earbud cleaners there, it kind of got disgusting. Had a few left. I did use the cleaner just to give the thread one more once over. Guys, here we are, it's about an hour later. I just wanted to get it nice and dry before I turned them over and stuck them into the little bracket that I've made. So that should be okay. They're dry to the touch. It's after about 3 hours they're supposed to be handled evidently, but I'm going to wait 24. It's covered it reasonably good. Stick them in there. Too heavy on there, so that's fine. Stick it in, just going to change hands here. Cover already shaken up the can of paint. Okay. It says 10 minutes between coats, so remember that, and it's supposed to be all done within an hour to make sure it actually adheres properly is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just trying to think where I can reach. There we go. You don't want to go overboard. I think I hit it from every angle there. There's also a clear coat that you can use for this as well over the enamel to make it a bit shinier if you're using on engine parts, evidently. But again, these are hidden, so I won't bother with that, but it's just nice to know. Also remember to clear the nozzle on your spray can as well. There we go. So we'll just leave that overnight, and I'll stick them in tomorrow and it'll be done. Thanks guys, thanks for watching. Okay guys, well, it's all done. We've left this overnight. Let me take these out and have a look. Nice and dry. Missed a little bit there on the threads, but that doesn't matter. It's just for the bolt heads. And this one. So all we need to do now is put them in the car. So just need a screwdriver and a piece of thin rag so we can put over the screw head and then put it in the screw. I hope this is going to work like this. We'll put the screw in like that and then tighten that up. Alright, so let's go stick these in the car, yeah? Okay guys, we're back in the console. We've got our 2 bolts. Okay, we're just going to stick one here and one in here. I've already cleaned these out, as you've already seen, I hope. And then we'll put the rubber mat in. So first of all, I'll just use your fingers to feed the bolts in as much as you can. This is really awkward the way it's sitting. One, might be able to hand tighten that all the way actually. Just doing it this way so we don't scratch the bolts. Next one, passenger side, I think it's the rusty one. If you're wondering where my cup holder is, it's actually now a desktop or shelf organizer. I don't actually have a desk, but yeah, it's super handy. I just don't want people having drinks in here. So. Weird. Tighten up, put the fabric over. Not too thick, or you won't be able to feel where the screwdriver is supposed to go. There we go. Next one. Sure that's pretty tight. There we go. All nice and done. Let's take the cover off and have a look. nice and shiny black bolts in there, nice and clean. Now we put the mat over, then you'd never know. One thing done. Obviously we have to take this out to, still need to get this repaired once it's registered. So yeah, do that at a later date. Yeah, bolt's done. Thank you very much.